Hello, welcome to another GBR 2 versus 2. This is Turtle Rock, and it's Albert Einstein and Granty, double human, versus, let me grab Anubis as Night Elf, and Michael Myers as Undead. Could be okay. What are they? Did they deliberately pick those races? Potentially. I didn't quite grab it. Everything happened so fast. So let's see. Granty, Barracks. Standard start at the moment for both Albert and Granty, but will they go into some lame style of play? Or will they try to continue throughout the game? Standard. We'll see. Anubis, no rush for the Ancient of War, unless this next Wisp that comes out is the Ancient of War. Let's find out. Quite likely it will be. No? Wisp it is. Into the gold mine. Let's see. Crypt, altar. No graveyard yet, so ghouls. Tome of Relics. 2 Tome of Relics. Oh. Is this some fast rush from Michael Myers and Anubis? This could work, to be honest, because the map is small. And this is super dependent on them being able to actually get into the bases of one of these 2 human players and kill the peasants. Preferably peasants / militia, otherwise footies, and use the Rod of Necromancies that they will gain from 2 Tome of Relics, since I assume that is a deliberate move. And yeah, spam out the skeletons, because you get 2 skeletons for 1 corpse, so very quickly and early on you can basically outmass your opponent. And it's very effective against human if they do not have an arcane tower, which neither player does at this moment in time, so this could be good. Hunter's Hall, but Anubis is going to be a bit slower because he's going for Huntresses, which is a good unit for this. That's me basically assuming that they are going for double Rod of Necromancy, which isn't such a bad idea. You know, honestly, that isn't too terrible. Ah. He's unsummoned one. I think he should have kept it, especially since it's gone up. But, okay. I was trying to hope that that was a deliberate move, but it wasn't. That is something I might have to actually steal. I don't think I can whisper anyone. No, I can't, because I'm a server. But I thought I might try and speak to Sexy Time secretly about that. Looks like Granty and Albert are coming in aggressively, but there's the Entangle and a Death Coil. It's going to make this a bit more tricky to stay in the opponent's base as the human player when your Archmage is almost down to half health before he's even at the opponent's base. Double Ancient of War here, so he's going to go quite heavy on the Huntresses if he can get one of these up, but I think one of them is going to go down. But the Archmage is pretty much guaranteed to go down, which is really harsh for Albert because he's actually the guy that's brought over his own little militias. And nice move by bringing in the ghouls in here as well. Dispel those elementals is a good idea. Yes, that would help indeed. So Albert's let himself die here so that he can leave his units to stay and fight and build towers. So this is still pretty messy at the moment. There's no units for Anubis, obviously because of going Huntresses, which is a slight problem on a small map like this. This is a bit tricky for Night Elf, this map, really. If someone goes aggressive against you at the start, it can really mess you up. But there's militia going down, there's peasants going down, left, right and centre I'm hearing stuff. So we need those Rod of Necromancies. I have a player, Michael Myers and Anubis each have a Rod of Necromancy that they can consistently spam out, which will help them counter-attack any of this, essentially, with the skeletons. Now, there's still a lot of units. Granty is now putting down towers himself because he's brought down a fair few peasants. So let's have a look. A tech from Michael Myers. He's confident that they're going to survive this, and he's going to go into tier 2 and do something. He's not too worried about this, apparently, but I would be, because it still looks like there's a lot more for Albert and Granty here right now. Anubis is hanging in there. Keeper of the Grove is a pretty handy hero, but he does need to keep spamming out those Rod of Necromancies on cooldown, so he can get as many skeletons as possible. This Ancient of War is suffering a lot of DPS. He is going to go down pretty much, but at least he's got another one at the back. Otherwise he'd be in real trouble. Ancient Protectors could be handy at this point, but wood isn't exactly something they have an abundance of, especially Michael Myers, because he's tech, so he's got 36 wood right now. Oh dear. Albert is... Anubis is being pushed right into the back of the base. Ancient Protector is not going to survive, unfortunately. The tree is going to get some good DPS off here, but the towers are just... It's too much now, I think, at this point. And regardless of whether they manage to kill the majority of the human units here, I think there's still a loss incoming, because right now the economy for Albert and Granty is still pretty damn comfortable. They do actually still sit on tier 1, but they don't need tier 2 at this point, because even if Michael Myers gets his tier 2, which is a potential to win the game, I don't think it's going to be much use, because Anubis needs to stay alive as long as possible so that he can feed resources. But he's a Night Elf, so it's really hard to stay alive as Night Elf in this kind of situation. It does look like one too many towers, and pretty much fighting back against Albert and Granty at this point is almost impossible, even with Ancient Protectors. Anubis is TP and out, so he's given this base up, so it's only a matter of time before that gold mine is dispatched and Ancient Protector goes down. There's not really much left. So Michael Myers, that tech's taken a long time. He did that quite a long time ago. It's very unfortunate that it's deciding to take as long as it is. It's got to be at least 2 minutes, I assume. Possibly longer, maybe 180 seconds to 3 minutes. That's a lot of towers. This base is 100% going down. There's a few resources for Anubis to pass over to his ally, but I'm not sure. The tech is going down again, so he's going for tier 3, maybe some sort of push into boneyards and then frostworms. Even then, frostworms take like 2 minutes to build, so Granty and Albert can comfortably counter that, because they'll probably be able to get tier 2 at some point. All they need to do is do one little scout and see that this is coming. But it's not, it's a slaughterhouse, so it could still be destroyers. Either way, they can pretty much probably survive, since it's going to be 2 versus 1, so it's going to be very hard for Michael Myers to actually destroy them easily anyway. Unless he had, like, you know, 3 slaughterhouses pumping out statues and then enough cigarettes to just whack them all into destroyer mode. It looks grim. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but at least Rod of Necromancy is being used. That's the main thing. Look at that, 14 to 15. It is slow attack though, but it's still good. The skeletons are really underrated for the harassing. So I really wish that they did follow through with that little double Tome of Relics. And I'm sure that's doable as well, double Tome of Relics. I mean, if the ally just... Say, for example, the Night Elf ally, you know, he might have had... It's probably going to have, like, a spare 100 gold and, you know, 40 wood or whatever. Just a little bit, just to kind of cover the cost at least, if not pay off for another Tome of Relics, while still being able to build everything he needs to build. It's quite doable. I think I want to use that strat. I want to use that. I really do. I want 2 Tome of Relics every game in 2 versus 2s. Looks like Granty and Albert are now pressing into the base. The slaughterhouse is definitely going to go down. The acolytes aren't pulled off. They're never going to repair that in time, even if they chose to, which they haven't. Michael Myers still got a number of ghouls here. They could probably hold off this attack or survive against it, but they won't get much more out of it. Statues are coming out, but he just needs more cigarettes. He needs that second slaughterhouse, otherwise it's going to take him forever to get the amount of destroyers that he needs. And Albert's almost got an expansion up already, and it's not even being fast built, so there's going to be even more economy for Albert. And it looks grim. I keep saying that, but it does. There's pretty much not much that these 2 players here can do. This is a tough map to try and survive on early on in the game, especially if you're rushed, which is why you've got to pretty much be prepared for it. I think Night Elf suffers possibly the most on this map, since they can't really get away with Ancient of War creeping any specific creeps on this map very comfortably, unlike on other maps they can. And there goes the Keeper of the Grove. It's just too damn small, this map, really. Huntresses are possible, but you may have to stick to 1 Huntress Hall and 1 Ancient of War to begin with, and then maybe put down a second one when available. This is pretty much the impossible, but the second slaughterhouse has gone down, and we have those ghouls and wood now, which is going to give just enough wood for Michael Myers to get back in. Skeletons doing the trick. That's what we like to see.
A player's
one worker on mine at the moment, but he hasn't got that much wood, so that's not really relevant. If he had to shite loads of wood, that wouldn't be a problem. But Grant, he has enough wood actually to pass over. Enough towers in his base that he won't die from anything straight away. Even Albert's got a couple of towers, which is going to be annoying. And both of these players have resigned themselves to the fact that even though one has tier 2 and the other one's got tier 2 on the way, they're still probably going to go on mass rifles, which is very effective against destroyers anyway, so you still can be fine with tier 1 against mass destroyers, to be honest. Especially when you have the advantage. Michael Myers looks like he's looking out for somewhere to gank, to get some sort of small advantage on his opponents. But he hasn't spotted anything apart from this rifle, and he's being rallied to the nearby Archmage, who isn't far away, but is not really capable of fighting this at the moment. So he's going to have to continue to run. Meanwhile, Granty is creeping out this little spot over here. I don't think he's going to get level 3 from it, but it'll be close. Not long to go. Now, this is the part where Michael Myers is now down to pretty much 0 resources, and I don't think Anubis is in a position to give him any resources. Nope. So Michael Myers pretty much has to go now and make this work. If not, then, well, there's 0 chance of winning. It's pretty no chance of winning anyway, but this is it now. He's moved up into destroyer mode with those statues, and he's going to go for the towers. And he has to bring these down fast and efficiently. Granty's kind of ready to respond to this a little bit with the peasants available, but those towers do go down very fast to destroyers when they have mana. Albert Einstein's hero almost going down there. He just managed to get a TP in. Did he TP over to this spot? No, he didn't. He managed to actually TP back to himself because he actually responded in that fashion. He probably didn't realize his Archmage was going to be in so much trouble, so he just double-clicked that. Destroyers are putting the pressure down. There is a smallest chance that Michael Myers might be able to come back here, but the longer he fights against those towers, the harder this is going to be. So you've got to bring those towers down. You can't really even afford to lose one destroyer at this point. And then you've got to kill whatever is possible. It's great that the statues have come in though, because that's going to keep him going. He could potentially take this out. There is that possibility. He just needs to stay focused, bring down the Archmages if possible, but keep the pressure on. And the pause goes down, which is a bit tricky. That's an interesting pause. Remember that Albert does have another gold mine elsewhere, and he's getting himself an arcane vault. Nothing else special though at this moment, but Michael Myers doesn't want to be too distracted here, whilst it is handy to go for this since this is a vulnerable army and he may as well pick off what he can. He doesn't want to lose sight of putting the pressure on in the base, especially the ability to actually get a lot of free peasant kills, because you want to slow down that economy, essentially kill the economy, and then you can turn this into a 1 versus 1. So it looks like Granty's being forced back. There's no arcane vault. Yes, there is actually. So he's got an arcane vault to heal himself with. Granty is now sending over a whole load of militia as well. Strange. I think that backfired a little bit, didn't it? So Michael Myers still getting a lot of experience out of this. Level 3 DK, level 3 Lich. That's very nice to see. But I want to see him inside someone's base, killing it basically, or being able to split these two, which he has done so far. If he can be able to fight Albert comfortably, then he's going to stand a good chance. Pick off units with those undead spells. Nova, DK, Coil, focus from the destroyers and get back. Oh, that's pretty harsh. Rifles, once they're mashed up to that level, are kind of hard to take on with destroyers. He needs to really get those... he hasn't got the mana, unfortunately. But he needs to do something. You've got to keep the pressure on. You can't afford to go back unless you're going to get yourself... which you already have Orb of Corruption. So you've got to keep the pressure on. You cannot stop. Is that a Mountain King? Yes, that's a Mountain King coming out for Albert. And Granty is now working his way towards Gyrocopters, which do need to be massed to quite a large number, to be honest, before they can be that effective. But it's still annoying to have to fight against Gyrocopters. You don't really want to see them when you've got destroyers. Oh, the Lich is about to go down, and that pretty much is going to... I think they're having a little bit of rage between the two players. Oh dear. Wow, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of control. Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been Woody. Please subscribe, like, and comment. I'll see you later.